For some people, a love of the outdoors is captured by photography. So what do you need to know to take gorgeous landscapes with just the right lighting and setup? Forrest Briggs is here from Forrest Briggs Photo Video. Welcome, glad you're here.
Thank you, Margaret. Thanks for having me on.
It can be a challenge to really capture the beauty of nature with a camera. What do you love about nature photography?
Well, you're outdoors, you're disconnected from the devices that we use every day. You're breathing fresh air, you're in the sunlight, you're surrounded by green. I mean, gosh, what's not to enjoy about that?
Beautiful thing to be out there trying to get that shot. And you've got some general advice for capturing the scenic shot. Whether you have your cell phone camera or a traditional camera, we start with the position of the sun. You want to shoot with the sun at your back and shining on your focus.
Yeah, generally speaking, you want your back to the camera, pardon me. You want your back to the sun. You can have the sun on either side of you. If it is in front of you, whether you're shooting with a DSLR or an iPhone like this, you might want to use your hand to kind of block it out.
Oh, that works too.
That does work too. And that is actually a good surrogate for a lens hood. So this is what we use to block the sun on a DSLR. It works the same as a baseball visor. But yeah, with your iPhone camera, just use your hand to
same
block
way you
the
would
sun.
shield your eyes, you shield your camera lens easy enough. And then there are reasons to hold a camera higher or lower than your subject, depending on what you're doing. But for the most part, you say be on the same level as the subject?
Yeah, you want to be on the same level as your subject. It just adds interest, it adds an element of intrigue, and yeah, billions of photos around the world are taken from roughly 5'5" to 6'5", so it's a lot better to kind of get down on whatever your subject is, the same level.
Okay, be there till you see it. And then you also want to make sure you're cleaning and maintaining your equipment, whether that's a phone or a real camera. You have a smudged lens or something, every shot you've taken is gone.
Yeah, no bueno. The same as every other piece of equipment you might own, whether it's a lawnmower or your car, you want to maintain it. The better you maintain it, the more longevity you'll get out of it, the better performance, the better photos you're going to take.
All right, and it depends what you're photographing, what element you're in. When does a tripod come in handy? Who's going to use a tripod?
Yeah, so I use these for my professional work, but also if I'm outdoors shooting nature, this is great anytime you're using a slow shutter speed. And so therefore that helps you to stabilize your camera so that you're not going to get camera shake because the whole point of photography is to have a clear, crisp photo, and this aids in that.
And if I'm taking a picture of the mountain range across the way, I'm not still enough probably with my own arms.
Yeah, depending on the lighting, you're generally not. So if a tripod is not available, then you can kind of, like, good camera position is you want to have your elbows in kind of like this to stabilize. You can always lay your camera to rest on, say, a rock or lean up against a tree or something of that nature. So anything you can do that's going to minimize shake in the camera.
Find a way to stabilize. And then shooting with a real camera, you're going to invest in different lenses for different kinds of shots. Talk us through those, the different lenses and what they each do. Telephoto.
Sure, there's a few different types of lenses. This is a telephoto zoom lens, and so effectively what this does is that this magnifies your subject. So if you're, 100 yards away from a hawk, or if we go hiking, we go up to Ravencliff Falls, how there's that observation deck.
That's how you get that close-up of the hawk that's a mile away.
That's how you get the close-up of the hawk that's a mile away. So you'd use your telephoto zoom for that. Your standard zoom lens, you mentioned taking photos of the mountains, or if you're on the Blue Ridge Parkway or the Grand Canyon, then you'd probably want to use a zoom lens like this. This shoots very wide so that you can get your entire subject in the frame. This is also good for event photography or anytime you're trying to encompass a large area.
And then some photography terms that people are going to learn when they get into it. The aperture determines how much light enters your camera. What does a photographer need to understand about aperture? And you've got some images on screen you can reference.
Sure. So to keep this simple, a small aperture number means that there's only going to be a little bit, a small amount that's in focus. Like if you use a large aperture number, then that's going to have a lot that's in focus from front to back. Like this photo right here of the barn in front of the Tetons, like this, the Blue Ridge Parkway in the autumn time.
Beautiful shots.
Like this is taken near in Tibet, near Lhasa, so yeah.
And that must be part of it for you. When you capture that image, some of these beautiful shots, that's what it's all about for you, this passion to be able to capture the right frame.
Capture the right frame and then also be able to share that with people. That's half the enjoyment, if not more.
And then we get to look at some other pictures that you submitted to us, shutter speed controls. It controls the length the light by length of time. So how does a faster or slower shutter speed impact your shot?
All right, so once again, just to keep this as simple as possible, a fast shutter speed is going to freeze motion. Like if you're photographing a hummingbird and you want those wings just crystal clear,
or sporting event.
Or sporting event, then you want to use very fast shutter speed. A slow shutter speed is when you want to show the motion. So slow, show. Like a waterfall, and you want to get that nice kind of silky, cottony effect, you'll use a slow shutter speed on your camera.
Okay, and then there are settings on our iPhones that'll surprise people too. But you know, that's kind of, you love to give people advice on this. Talk to us a little bit about your photography business. What makes you passionate about what you do?
Yeah, I just love sharing the images with everyone. It's great. It's very meditative. Anytime you're behind the lens, you have to breathe. You have to slow your heart rate down just to make sure that you're focused on your subject. So that's really enjoyable. Also with nature photography, it's wonderful, again, just to be outdoors and to document these things that not everyone can access. Some people, whether they're home with children or for whatever reason, they don't enjoy the outdoors, but they want to see the outdoors. This is a great way to share that with them.
Yeah, photos can transport us places. That's a powerful
100%,
thing.
absolutely.
And I know you've done a lot of traveling too, so that's part of it.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, Forrest, thank you so much. We appreciate the insight here. And Forrest Briggs Photo Video offers the private photography lessons, professional headshots, commercial videography, and more. We've got details online, and people can follow you on social media. We'll have that link on accesscarolina.com.